Uncomfortably close.
Uncomfortably close. Good morning. Good morning.
Hi.
This is Heather from weddingsbyheather.com. I'm here with my friend Maura.
Oh, you forgot. And the Flourish.Academy.
And the Flourish.Academy, just sort of non-existent. I mean, I haven't worked. I don't have a website ready yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna just adjust this. Sorry. There we go. Is that?
Oh, hello.
Okay.
Yes, look, right
where can people find you?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Pics by Chicks, CHICKS,
yes.
photography.com,
right,
all over the place, Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, you are everywhere. So Maura's here with me this morning because we have a mentoring session planned, and I said, hey, do you want to join me for this quick tip? And she was like, yeah.
Well, I don't ever really say no to you.
That's really not an option.
Hey, you need to be here.
There's no option. And this is what we're doing. Okay, so we were talking about it, and we talked about goal setting.
Oh, goals.
That our quick tip for today would be about setting goals. So tell us about your goal setting journey.
Okay, so goals are very important to me, and I know they're very important to you too. So when we first started mentoring, it was like, what are your goals? Like that, I think that was one of the first questions you asked me, like, what's your ultimate goal?
Well, let's back up for 1 second. Actually, when you came to my house, the first thing I say is, what is your goal for our time together?
Okay.
What is your goal for this session? Like, what do you hope to accomplish? And then, what is your goal for next week? What is your goal for 6 months? And then we span
it out.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was very important for me from the beginning. I knew that, like, it was something, if I was going to mentor with Heather, I needed to have goals.
Have a goal.
So, you know, it's been very important to me. And what I'll talk about, the one thing I learned this year, which I really kind of screwed myself when I set my goals, but that's what I don't want people to do.
Yeah.
But, when I kind of took your first like goal setting workshop a couple years ago, I was like, wow, okay, it needs to be, I think sometimes a lot with my goals, I was setting tasks as goals.
Oh,
not like,
there's a difference.
There's a huge difference.
Yeah.
And so when we went through it and you were writing it on the board, you're like, this is a task, this is a task, this is a task. And I was like, oh.
Then what are my goals?
Like, it was like I put something like edit with a tablet instead of my mouse. And you're like, that's a task, not a goal. And I was like, oh, well, I thought that. What did I know?
Yeah,
so that was really eye-opening for me. And I remember sitting here in, what was that, August of 2013.
Oh, that was three years ago. Because it's August now.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Gosh. And I said in August of 2014, I wanted to ask for a demotion for my corporate job. And then August 2015, quit and be a full-time photographer. Well.
That's a goal. That's a good, and it had a date.
I had a date,
right?
I had tasks assigned with it, and we wrote it on a piece of paper. I stuck it up on my wall. I looked at it like 10, 15 times a day because then it gets in my head. Yeah. I always love to write stuff down and look at it.
Right.
And then I quit in January of 2015, so like 7 months ahead of schedule.
Which is the perfect segue into what we talked about yesterday, because you had said to me, okay, I set these goals and I always exceed them, which means you're setting them too low.
And that's one thing we've talked about. I really, really hurt myself this year because when I sat, I think everybody knows, hopefully by now, I'm a boudoir photographer. So I set goals for myself on how many boudoirs I wanted this year.
Yes.
And when we sat here and went through my goals, I was like, well, I want to do 30 boudoirs this year.
Yeah.
Like, and I knew it was a small goal and I knew that I could already achieve it like without even trying. And I hit 30, and then I was like, okay, let me try for 60.
I can extend that
I can
a
do
little
60.
Yeah.
So in the middle of the year, I'm like, I'm going to do 60. And then I hit 60, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do 100. 100 women this year, and I'm at... So my problem is that I feel like I shortchanged myself at the beginning of the year because I set my goal too low.
Yeah.
So in January, February, March, I wasn't focused on this big number, and I was just like, oh yeah, I can hit 30. Yeah, I can do 30 without.
It was too easy.
It's too easy. So I really screwed myself because now I'm at like 80.
Which is incredible.
Which is awesome. So I really feel like I could have gotten to 100 if I would have started earlier in the year.
Yeah, with that number in mind.
Yeah, and so now I've really kind of hurt myself. But I'm so frustrated with myself.
I know, but you learn. You've done this a couple of times.
I know.
You have to establish stretch goals. You have to stretch it. It has to be a little bit uncomfortable. I think a lot of us set our goals low so that we can achieve them.
And be like,
and
oh,
feel
I did it.
I did it. Look at me.
But like, you know, I feel like sometimes we're so worried about failing at that goal. Like, but listen, when you look back at it at the end of the year, like, okay, what did I do? Well, that's pretty big. If I would have said my goal was 100, the problem is now I don't have enough dates left in the book to get
literally not enough time.
I don't have enough time. I could maybe get to 90, but I probably won't get to 100.
Right.
So, but if I would have said 100 and we sat here at our goal session for next year, and I said, hey, listen, I did 80, that would have been amazing.
Right.
You know, like, you have to stop and think about it. And like, we put these numbers on things, but like at the end of the day, like if you've made really good progress, I consider that an achieved goal. And you may have a different opinion on that.
No, I agree. You definitely achieved the goal. You exceeded the goal. And all that says to me is it could have been higher.
It could have been higher. It was my own fault.
Right. So you have to stretch your goals. So, and I love to make people uncomfortable with that. I'll say, like, what is your goal for quitting your job? Or what is your goal for number of sessions? And they'll tell me, and I will immediately double it. Because I know everybody's tendency is to set it too low.
Yeah. So, like, you want to play it safe. But with goals, you don't want to play it safe. Because I feel like my brain needs to know, I have to tell my brain what I want it to do. So if I say, like, okay, just 30. Well, I mean, listen, 30 is not going to make me a ton of money where I'm going to be like living comfortably and stuff.
30 really, if you think about it, is just a hair more than 2 per month.
Yeah, and no. And
I mean, come on, what are you, lazy? Come on.
I'm not lazy, no.
Setting that goal was too low for you.
It was too low.
Especially considering how driven you are.
I know, and I can't, now, it's very frustrating now. So I'm really looking forward to, so I know, I've been in business a while and I consider myself successful. I don't mean that to sound cocky or anything, but I've worked really hard for what I have, but it doesn't matter to me. Every year, every December, I come back to Heather and we do like, sometimes 4 hours of like goal setting, vision boarding for like the next year. And I love that. Like I always Voxer you after that session. I'm like, this was good. This was good stuff.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it's really good to just have someone else to sit, list the goals with you, go through them, figure out what's going to work, what's not going to work, putting values and time frames on things, which I think, sometimes we forget to do. So, and it's nice to have someone that holds me accountable.
Thank you. And I help you to make sure that it's in line with the bigger picture of your business, where you want your business to go. And so what I do is the first 2 weeks in December, I take my preferred mentoring clients, which are just the people, my VIPs that spend a lot of time with me, and I schedule them the first 2 weeks in December, and it's all we do. For 2 weeks, is everybody comes in and we do goals. Some people choose to do it the second week in January, which is fine. But we spend the first small part of that appointment looking back. What worked, what didn't, but we don't dwell on it. Yeah. We just say, okay,
this is it, move forward.
This is it, right.
I always hate this thing, but it is what it is. Like, what happened, and you can't, that's like from Lost, the TV show Lost. Whatever happened.
And you adjust.
And
because there's no such thing as failure, only feedback.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, there's a gem.
No, you cannot fail, because failure is just feedback that says, hey, you're not going in the right direction. Right. You need to adjust. I think of it as a warning sign. It's like, beep, 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 beep. Okay, adjust. I'm not failing. I'm just getting feedback that says I'm not headed in the right direction and I need to adjust course. And that's okay. That's another reason, however, people are afraid to put goals on paper is because they think, well, what if I don't want to do this? So you can adjust goals. You can change goals. Listen, nobody's pouring concrete on your feet. Right? We can change it.
It always changes.
It always changes.
Mine changes mid-year, it's like something came up and I'm like, hey, I want to do that. So
I need to adjust.
The next 6 months, I'm going to, make it work for me. But it's nice to have somebody that, I love you.
Thank you. And you as well.
No, that's my sense of humor. People don't know me. It's nice to have somebody like you who knows what my ultimate goals are with my business. And, I'm in my business every single day. And it's nice to have somebody that can just
bigger picture it.
Knock me over the head when I need it.
Right.
So it's nice to have you to just bounce my ideas off of. And
I love seeing your growth, and I love pushing you, and I love making you uncomfortable. My favorite thing is when we're here and we're working on your goals and you cry. That's awesome. Because
I cry a lot here.
That's not hard to do. That's not
you
hard
make
to
me
do.
cry all the time.
Maura. I had had a new client here last week, and she was crying. I said, "Don't worry, it happens all the time."
It's all the time.
Yeah.
People cry here.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I cried, and you're like, "Oh, it's normal."
It's what
I'm like,
people
what?
Help
I just want to quit my job.
me.
Help me. So yeah.
Does anyone have any questions for us before we have actually real work to do today?
How do you balance your business with personal goals? Ooh.
Do you have an answer for that?
Oh my gosh.
Good morning. Evan's at the door, but
Hi, Evan. He has a PVC pipe in his hand.
We have a mouse in the house that he's trying to get.
No, this is a potato gun.
He said, "No, this is a potato gun." Okay.
Okay, good to know.
I'll be with you in a minute.
With
Thank
this
you.
Stuffed animal.
Okay, business and personal.
Business
How
and
would you
personal
discuss?
goals. You know, what I struggle with a lot is that my personal life is so tied into my business, right? So I actually break it down in two sets, because remember I had marriage goals.
Yeah, you should have goals in every area
of your life.
But recognize that they all permeate.
They all, so if I'm successful in my business, that's going to permeate to my marriage, and like things are just going to grow from there. But I segregated my list. I have like 2 pages of my goals, personal goals and business goals, so that I'm working on things all the time. So I know, like, you know, Tony and I, we need to take a date once a month, like just us, no talk of business, jobs, like nothing. What do you talk about then? So it was like we had to come up with like conversation topics, because like that's a lot of what we focus around. How do you balance business?
Okay, so I have goals in all the different areas of my life. So a few of those might be finances, marriage, business, children, family, relational, health, things like that, spiritual. But I recognize that all of these compartments play to the bigger picture of what I want my life to look like, because we have lifestyle businesses. However, even if you're in a corporate job, you're still the same person at home that you are in that corporate job. You need to first ask yourself, what is the goal, or what do I want my life to look like holistically? So at a higher level, what do I want things to look like? Then each one of these compartments those decisions are driven by that bigger goal. So you have to keep that in mind and know that they all permeate and that they're all important, but you compartmentalize them into different areas. But you cannot at any time have more than 7 to 10 goals across all of them. Not in each one, but across all of them. And they all should be with the greater good in mind. Yeah, exactly.
Gosh, you're so smart.
Thank you. I read a lot about this stuff. I study it. I do the goal setting workshop. I want to formalize that a little bit more.
Oh my gosh, the goal setting workshop. Like,
it's amazing.
Stuff.
I actually made Craig go through it earlier this year.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and he loved it. It went really well.
Does he set goals? Because I know he's not. So a lot of people ask me, like, you know, I'm not a business owner. Do I need to set goals? And I'm like, yeah. How do you know what you're doing
Where's
for
your
the
life
year?
headed?
What do you want?
Right. What do you
Where
want?
do you imagine yourself is going to be at the end of the year? Like, and I think about my life before I set goals, and I'm like, what was I doing? No wonder I was slaving away at corporate America and a slave for money, and just
because you didn't know.
There was no other life that I couldn't dream of. Like, I didn't dream of anything, and so I think now when I dream, it's like, wait. If I set goals, I can get there. And I'm real excited.
And the first thing you had to do was to define what success was for you.
Yes.
Because previous to that, we might think success is money in our corporate job. Yeah. But that's where you started. What is success?
I love that, because I remember that in boot camp. You talked about that, like, how do you define success? And for me, and I actually blogged about this a couple weeks ago, like, success for me is not money, it's feeling passion every day for what I'm doing.
Loving it. Yeah.
That's how I define my success. And so I can see then when I look back at my goals and what I did, you know, what I put on the paper for this year, like, I'm really working towards, like, feeling passion, because it only makes me a better person, a better wife, you know.
Everybody wins.
Everyone wins.
Yeah, right.
Even you win.
I do win. But you know, and I've always said this. My success is directly tied to yours, because if you do well, and I'm privileged enough to have a small component of that, then you come back to me, or you tell other people, and then I get more business. So I am really passionate about your success. I want to make sure that you do the best you can. So you know that I have shed tears with you. Yeah. We have been up. We have gone through everything to try to get you to where you're at, and look at where you're at. And it's always evolving and growing, and it's amazing.
I know, you can't just sit still. I mean, like, you kind of have to.
I read recently, or saw recently, that happiness is nothing more than progress. Ooh. So if you are making progress in any area of your life, even if you've not hit those goals, or you're not anywhere near where you want to be, as long as you're stepping forward, Progress equals happiness.
I mean, progress is progress. Doesn't matter what form.
Yep. Rain is asking if I put Craig through my own workshop. I did. Yes, I did. And
that poor guy.
Yeah. He's such a good sport.
He's a guinea pig for everything.
He is. And I said, I want to try. I've been teaching goals for a while, and I've done goal setting workshops privately. And so I said, let me try this with you. I've actually done it with husbands and wives. I had a couple here, and we did a goal setting workshop. We did it in January. We did their goals for the year, and we went through all of their goals, and it went really, I need to actually check in with them and see how they're doing, but it went really well, and I think it's really helped them.
I think the other thing, like when we went through boot camp, Mandy Briscoe and I went through boot camp together, and we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary of boot camp, so she and I are going to get together at our 1 year mark and like
fun.
Go through like where we are in the year, what we want to do, and what we want to accomplish over the next year. And I feel like it's real important to have somebody that's going to hold you accountable and be like, yo, are you kicking butt? Like, what are you doing?
Nobody else on your shoulder.
Yeah. I mean, it's all on me. So it's nice to have somebody, you and Mandy, like other people that you connect with that like are going to help you get to where you want to go.
Right.
So, yeah.
Mandy says, happy boot camp anniversary.
Oh, happy boot camp.
Okay, we hope that you found this useful. We're going to have to run, and I will see you tomorrow. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.